Makshadvardhan, sign of the ends of the age. Verse 1. As he was leaving the temple, one of his disciples said to him, Look, teacher, what mischief stone would manifest beauty. Verse 2. Do you see all those great buildings? Replied Jesus. No one stone here will be left on another. Everyone's will be thrown down. Verse 3. As Jesus sitting on the Mount of Olives, opposite of the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately. Verse 4 tells us when will those things happen and what will be the signs that they are all about to be fulfilled. Verse 5 Jesus said to them, Watch out, no one deceive you. Many will come in my name, claiming I am he, and will deceive many. Verse 7, when you heal a world and runs mode of world, do not be allowed. Such thing must happen, but the end is still to come. Verse 8, nations will rise against nation, and kingdoms against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places and famines. Those are the beginnings of birth pain. Verse 9, you must be on your guard. You will be handed over to the locate council and fought in the synagogue. On the account of me, you will stand before governor and king as witness to them. Verse 10, and gospel must first to preach to all nations. Verse 11, wherever you are arrested and brought to trial, do not worry beforehand about what to say. Just say whatever is given to at the time, for it is not you speaking, but the Holy Spirit. Verse 12, brother will betray brother to death, and the father his children. Children will rebuild again their children and have them put to death. Verse 13, all men will hate you because of me, but he who stands firm to the end will be saved. Verse 14, when you see the abominations that cause desolation standing where is darkness belong, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountain. Verse 15, let no one on road of his house go down or enter the house to keep anything out. Verse 16, let no one in the field go back to get his clothes. Verse 17, how dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mother. Verse 18, praise it, this will not take place in winter. Verse 19, because those will be days of distress unequivalent for the beginning when God created the world until now and never to be equal again. Verse 20, if the Lord has not cut short those days, no one could shall rise, but for the sake of the elect whom he had chosen, he has sought them. Verse 21. At the time, if anyone say to you, look, here is the Christ, or look, there he is, do not believe it. Verse 22. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform signs and miracles to deceive the elect, if not will perceive. Verse 23. So be on your guard. I have told you everything ahead of time. Verse 24. But in those days following that distress, the sun will be darkness, and the moon will not give it light. Verse 25. The star will fall from the skies, and the heavenly body will be shaken. Verse 26. At the time man will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Verse 27. And he will send his angel and gather his elect for the four winds, for the ends of the earth to the ends of the heaven. Verse 28. Now learn this lesson for the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaf comes out, you know that summer is near. Verse 29. Even so, when you see those things happening, you know that it is near, right at the door. Verse 13. I tell you the truth, this generation's will century not pass away until all those things have happened. Verse 31. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will never pass away. The days and hours are now. Verse 32. No one knows about the days or hour, not even the angel in heaven, and the Son, but only the Father. Verse 33. Be on guard, be alert. You do not know when that times will come. Verse 34. It is like the man going away, he leaving his house and put his servants in chains. It will, it's with his assigned heads on dams and the winds at the door to keep watch. Verse 35. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know when the owner of the house will come back, whether in the evening or at midnight, or when the luster clouds on it down. Verse 36. If he comes suddenly, do not let him find you sleeping. Verse 37. What I say to you, I say to everyone, watch. Mark chapter 13, verse 5. Watch out. Jesus only discounts contents repeated warning that as the end draw near, his people might be on constant alert to the danger of religion deception. Jesus admonished the words out, verse 5. You must be on your guard, verse 9. So be on your guard, verse 23. Be on guard, be alive, verse 33. Therefore keep watch, verse 35. And watch, verse 37. Those warning indicates that many unbiblical teachings will be permanent among the churches. The believer, more than ever, must know and obeys only the words of God. Matthew chapter 24, verse 5. Mark chapter 13, verse 6. Many will deceive many. Matthew chapter 24, verse 11. Mark chapter 13, verse 10. Gospel preached to all nations. Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. Mark chapter 13, verse 13. Stand firm to the end, perseverant in the faith and enduring in all. Loyalty to Christ is a scriptural conditions for final salvation. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 14, chapter 6, verse 11 to 12, chapter 10, verse 36. The glory of final salvation is described in Revelation chapter 2, verse 7, 17, 26 to 28, chapter 3, verse 5, verse 12 to verse 20 to 21, chapter 7, verse 9 and verse 17, chapter 14, verse 13, chapter 21, verse 1 to 7. Mark chapter 3, verse 14, abominations that cause desolation. The abominations that cause desolation refer to that which demands all, pollutes which is holy. Daniel chapter 9, verse 25 to 27. Number one, Christ's statement may perfectly refer both to the Roman invasions of Jerusalem when the temple was dislocated, and in chapter 17, and to the placing of the image of the Antichrist in Jerusalem just before Christ's return to just the weekend. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 to 15. Chapter 19, verse 11 to 21. Number two, this is the sometime called prophetic for foreshadowing. The theme Jews when two old molds even are viewed as if they are one. Example, world be the combined of Christ's first coming with the gospel and his second coming with judgment in Isaiah chapter 11 verse 1 to 4 and in chapter 61 verse 1 to 2. Matthew chapter 24 verse 44. Luke weighs the Pentecostal outpourings of the Spirit and the great and dreadful days of the Lord out combined and spoken of as one event in Joel chapter verse 28 to 31. Christ healed and described Jerusalem destruction as a tide of great tribulations that concerns at the end of the age. See the articles on the Great Tribulation, page number 52. Mark chapter 31, verse 19 to 22. District. See the articles on the Great Tribulation, page number 52, for the interpretations of those verses. Mark chapter 13, verse 22. Fall prophets. See the articles on false teacher, page number 98. Mark chapter 13, verse 24. The sun darkened. Matthew chapter 24, verse 29, and Mark chapter 13, verse 26. Sons of men coming. Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. Mark chapter 13, verse 27. Great is elect. Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. Mark chapter 13, verse 28. The fig tree. Matthew chapter 24, verse 32. Mark chapter 13, verse 29. Those things. Matthew chapter 24, verse 33. Mark chapter 13, verse 13. This generation. Matthew chapter 24, verse 34. Matthew chapter 13, verse 32. No one knows about the days or earth. Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. Mark chapter 13, verse 33. Be alive. Matthew chapter 24, verse 42. Mark chapter 13, verse 35. In the evening, midnight at draw. Christ affirmed that his returns for the faithful of his churches put on at for possible time during the night of early morning, displayed to the fact that his coming for them could be at any time and emphasized the unexpectedness, that hiddenness of the first state of his second coming, when the faithful will be cast out for the earth. The lecture, see the articles on the rapture, page number 440. Since it is immediate, imminent, and unexpected, our believer must be spiritually alive and faithful. Matthew chapter 24, verse 42, and chapter 24, verse 44. Luke chapter 12, verse 35 to 36, 38 to 40, chapter 46, chapter 21, verse 34 to 36.